Scott here for another Headcanon video. This is the first video that I'm actually filming in the new apartment, which is why it's just this blank space without proper lighting of any kind. But I wanted to present this idea to you that I heard on Twitter. And again, these Headcanon videos are just videos that I didn't do any research for. They're just kind of off the cuff. There's no script or anything. It's just kind of a brainstorming session with you guys. So I could be completely wrong here. I just want to know what you guys think. So on Twitter earlier today, J. Jacob Barker, or Joja Barker, is his username, tweeted at me and said, I've come to consider emoticons as a distant cousin of sequential art, which is sequential art, honestly, or obviously meaning comics, which is something that kind of struck me as really interesting. And actually, to follow that up, Ricky from Stu Dippin tweeted at me, or just tweeted at the whole conversation. He sent this article that was a list of 50 emoji sequences that are supposed to spell out movie titles. So you would have something like a panda and a fist, and that would be Kung Fu Panda, or a snake emoji, and a plane, and that would be snakes on a plane, or something like a crown, a word bubble, or word balloon, and then a microphone, and that would be the King's Speech. And that was kind of an interesting thing, because it reminded me a lot of something that I heard about from a Radiolab episode, and it's called, I believe it's Bliss Symbolics, or Bliss Symbols, which were created by a guy named Charles Bliss, who wanted to create a universal language that didn't necessarily use words, so that, well, I'll leave a link in the description to the whole podcast below so that you can listen to it, because they will explain it more than I could. But the gist is that it's supposed to be a universal language of symbols, and so I have a couple of them here, and this is kind of what the emoji thing reminded me of. So this would be something like they would have individual symbols for different words, and then you combine them to make new words. And this does relate back to comics, just bear with me for a second here. So this would be animal, long, nose, and so that would be an animal with a long nose would be an elephant, right? So that's how you spell elephant. And then we have another one here, which would be person, feeling, positive, intensity, I think. And I didn't do research. And so this would be how you spell out friend. It's when you use different symbols to spell out, or you combine different symbols together, and it creates a whole new meaning than what it maybe meant individually on its own. And so that's what the emoji thing reminded me of. And this idea of creating a universal language that kind of breaks through barriers of language is something that's really interesting, because there is a 99% Invisible podcast episode, I listen to a lot of podcasts, where they talk about sending a message to people 10,000 years in the future. Not like sending it through time, but like creating a physical thing that people will be able to read 10,000 years in the future. And so one thing that they had to come across was, well, obviously you can't use language of like a specific language, because who knows what people are going to be speaking 10,000 years in the future, and words could mean completely different things as language evolves. So, and we want to make sure that everybody who comes across it will be able to understand. The thing that they were trying to get across was this idea that this place would be radioactive, and it's really hard. You can't see radiation with the naked eye. So, they wanted to create like a warning sign that would be universally understood. And they tried all sorts of different things, obviously language and symbols and stuff like that. And one thing that they came across was this idea of like a comic book type of thing, where you would tell a story through pictures, like the emoji thing, or like these Bliss symbols. You kind of tell a story that individually creates this broader idea of what the message is that they're trying to get across. And so, for example, if this place is radioactive, they would draw like a 3-panel thing of guy, enters the place. Maybe it's like a guy walking, a guy enters this place, and then the guy dies. And so they were just trying to get, they didn't care that they had to spell out that it was radioactive. They were just trying to spell out the idea that if you enter this place, you will die. So then the problem arose that, you know, when you write out comics or when you write out anything that's sequential, there are different cultures around the world that read from left to right and right to left, so obviously, you know, if someone reads it backwards, because in their culture they read it from, say you write out the comic book left to right, but in their culture they read right to left, so then it looks like if you bring dead people into this place, then they become alive again, in which case is the opposite of what you want people to do, because then suddenly everybody's coming to this place and then everybody will just start dying. So then this is also something that happened with the Bliss symbols as well when trying to create a universal language. You know, there are different cultures that read different ways, and so obviously it's not going to be universal in that sense. There are going to be different dialects of this type of symbol language, but I just wanted to kind of throw a ton of that stuff out at you because this is a brainstorming session. So these are just a ton of ideas that I want to throw at you, but the main questions, I guess, that I had to ask are, number one, you know, do you think emoji is a type of comic in the sense that it's a sequential art where you do picture by picture by picture and it spells out an entirely different meaning or broader meaning depending on how you do it? Secondly, the second question I want to ask is, do you think that comic books could, in a sense, convey a message 10,000 years in the future, or just transcend language and stuff altogether, in the sense that you can just tell a story through pictures that everyone will understand? Because that was kind of the point of this system, was enable to a way to tell a story through pictures that everybody understands. And I think that's maybe something that comics could also do. Obviously one of the big problems they had with, you know, using comics as a way to convey a message 10,000 years in the future was, you know, which way do you read it? So they thought, well, maybe why not try arrows? But then, you know, who's to say that someone will interpret those arrows correctly as like a way to read it, instead of just like an actual literal arrow, like a guy and then there's an arrow and then, you know, there's a lot of problems with it. So yeah, those are just some thoughts. Again, it's just a brainstorming session, so let me know everything that you think in the description below, and if I'm a crazy person, just let me know I'm a crazy person, and I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the NerdSync channel. We are currently, if you didn't know this, we are currently in the process of moving and kind of revamping everything, so we're going to be doing a few of these videos in the middle of the move, just so that they're kind of low production value. That way I don't have to spend a lot of time, and I can spend more time researching for other videos and also just moving and dealing with all the stress that has to do. So thank you guys so much for watching this week, and I'll see you next time for more Headcanon videos. Bye.